Y'all know what it is, man. Get them likes up. Get them shares up. We're about to talk about these Bucs. This 31-29 game. Y'all know what the business is. Me and your guy Spoonie in the building. Y'all already know. Oh, man. I see a lot of Anthony Brown hate early, Spoon. Oh, for good reason. For good reason. Our boy Joe checking in all the way from Italy. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you, man. All right, Cowboys Nation. Y'all know what it is, but let's get to business, right? Man, get these last 4 seconds out of here. I don't even want to hear it. Spoonie, Last
Yes,
night
sir.
we were going to wrap up after the game, right? We was going to wrap up, and you was like, Nix, hey man, I might cut some folks out. I can't do it. I can't do it. Let's just put it on pause. I said, fair enough, Spoon. We'll put it on pause and we'll come back door. And of course, our girl, one of our cohorts, Mary Ellis, in the building. She's trying to do some work and be productive. But what this Cowboys news and whatnot's happening back and forth, y'all know what it is. And Joe, man, the Anthony Brown train is going down. It is trash, and we know we're going to kind of talk about some of that too. I hear you, Dominic Toe, in the building. Get the mics, get them shares. I'm going to build it up a little bit more before we shoot. But Spoonie, overnight,
Yes.
where you at right now?
I'm much better than last night. Way much better than last night. Last night was just I was just too emotionally in, and
The professor's in the building. Go ahead, you good.
Just the way things went down in that last drive.
Right. That clock management from us. Yeah, I mean, there's some things. And we'll kind of get into. I'll tell you what, brass tacks. Let's go ahead and shoot some numbers out there, right? Let's go ahead and shoot some numbers out there and kind of cover that, get some of that out of the way, and then we'll kind of break down some of this in-game action. All right, so we already know Dak Prescott, right? 11 months away. Was it 333 days? I think they said since he threw a pass last. And went bonkers. He just went bonkers. 42 completions off of 58 attempts, 403, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But Spooney, the young buck, the young lamb, got to catch that, right?
Yes.
Right in the hands, he's got to catch that. Running game, Zeke, 11 carries, 33 yards. Pollard, 3 carries for 14. Dak, 4 for 13. And then here comes wide receiver 1, Spoon. Cooper, 13 for 139, 2 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 104, 1 touchdown. But an up and down game from him.
Right.
An up and down game from him. Dalton Schultz, 6 for 45. Michael Gallup, 4 for 36. But I want to pause as we're doing these numbers. All right, man. Gallup looking like he's out 3 to 5 weeks with a calf strain. Pretty much didn't play the entirety of the second half, right? So Dak stayed cooking with Gallup out for sure. How much is that going to be effective, or how do you feel? How much that's going to affect this offense over the next, possibly up to 5 games?
It's definitely going to be a change, but I think we'll stay in rhythm because guys like Cedric Wilson, I believe can step in here and go to work. We seen yesterday, he had a couple of good grabs in the game. I think our wide receiver depth is great. This is why we were saying the whole time during the offseason, just because you have 3 wide receivers, very good ones, doesn't mean you have to get rid of one for trade. They was prepared for things like this. And this is why I believe that they won't miss a beat at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, one of the things, and we kind of talked about this leading up to the season, wide receivers 1 through 5 are pretty good, and they have a good rapport with Dak, especially when we talk about Cedric Wilson, who's probably going to come get those things. You can't. You're not going to be able to trade a player that's hurt anyway. So Gallup's definitely not getting traded. You can't do that in the NFL. Can't trade a injured player. So, and they're not going to look to trade him anyways. So, man. The one thing about it is he's kind of our jump ball threat guy down the field. Right. We will miss that. There's some things they can do to counterbalance that. Whether you talk about more Jarwin in the seams, right, a little bit of a big play guy for you downfield. But I'm excited to see Ced Wilson get some more time. Anytime Ced's had an opportunity, Ced has pretty much came through. So I'm not, I hate that Gallup's gone, but maybe we get a little bit of a glimpse of the future with Ced Wilson being our 3. Of course, he's, his contract's up too. Got to re-sign somebody, right? Let me kind of get down to speaking of Ced Wilson, he had 3 catches for 24 yards. Pollard 4 for 29. Now we kind of talked about pregame. We were looking to get Pollard 10 to 12 touches, right? He ended up with 7 last night. Right. 7. So, I'll take that with a grain of salt. Blake Jarwin said 3 for 20 and Zeke 2 for 6. So Zeke ended up with 13 total touches. We kind of talked about that balance attack. Maybe we're looking for that 23, 24, 25 touch game from him. However, the game plan was a little bit different, and they did a lot of things to offset the run game. A lot of these passes, I would probably estimate around 10 to 15 maybe, were really just extended handoffs, right? Just quick outs to the guy in the slot and bubble screens. Again, you had 6 passes to your running backs, just more of an extended style than not just letting Zeke run into, Vita Vea's belly, for 1 or 2 yards for like 10, 10 times, right?
Downs, right.
Go ahead.
Listen, again, I know a lot of folks gonna have issues with the game plan, but it kept the Buccaneers off balance. At the end of the day, we have inexperience in that middle of that line between Biadasz and Connor McGovern. So when you have that, you're gonna have to be a little bit more different. Just running the ball, you're just giving them the downs. You extending the drives, and you kept them off their heels by throwing them. And I think it was an excellent play call by Kellen Moore. I'm not gonna change my stance on it. Ezekiel Elliott did a great job staying back there, picking up those blitzes for Dak Prescott. And
again, he earned his money. Yeah, he earned his money last night. You're not wrong about that.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, there's a special word that is not on your stat sheet, and it's called intangibles. Intangible is the best word. It's the word that basically you're going to see what the play is doing, how he's helping his team without showing it on the stat line. And that is the problem for people not recognizing. Ezekiel Elliott's intangibles last night is not being shown because everybody's looking to the attempt, how much rushing attempts did he have. But not looking at when the offensive line was banged up and a lot of folks was worried, Zeke was helping. And a lot of those drives that Dak was able to escape the blitzing and just go right through it is because it was Zeke was doing back there with him.
Yeah, big facts. And you talk about a complete back. You can run, he can catch.
Right.
But the other side of that pie is you got to be able to block. And I'll tell you what, there's a couple times where Zeke lowered the boom on some guys getting through.
Yes,
Mariella co-hosting from the sidelines with us says Zeke knew his assignment and he killed it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. And of course, a lot of agreements here. Mo's in the bin. What's going on, Mo? Let me get Mo up here. What's up, guys? Darren Sosin agreed with Spoonie. So, I mean, you do want to be a little bit more balanced, but you know what? Against this front, here's what I liked. We wasn't just stubborn. We're like, okay, and basically, and I kind of talked this, and I talked about it in our game chat, and I tweeted this as well during the game. I was like, after we went 3rd and 3, they handed it to Pollard, and he didn't get the first. Man, we didn't run the ball again at some point in the second half. They're like, okay, we've seen enough. Like, it's just not here tonight. But again, a bit more balanced, but I liked the fact that they stuck with what was working. We always said a lot of times, during different regimes, like, man, just take what the defense is giving you and you'll go far. And that's exactly what Kellen Moore and Dak were doing last night, was taking what the defense was giving them and making it work. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. That was very interesting. The linebacker rotation, right? So snap counts. Jalen Smith ended up with 16 snaps, and LVE ended up with 14 snaps, 30 combined. And I think the Bucs ran 64 or 65 plays. Intrigued that combined they were still under 50% of the defensive snaps, or about what you expected, Spoon?
I mean, it's about what we expected. We've been preaching this during this whole offseason, DJ. About the new scheme and how much playing time Jalen Smith and LVE may not have, especially with the big nickel, with his 2 linebackers and you could use 3 safeties. And majority of the game, you did see Kursh, Donovan Wilson, and Kazi in there. You saw Neal and you saw Michael Parsons.
I think Michael Parsons got around 50, 51 snaps last night of the 64.
Right, and he is the new guy. They're trying to really mix in this defense. While Jalen Smith and LVE, they're pretty much the backups right now. I mean, they're going to have their own role. We've seen Jalen Smith against the run, attacking the run. They basically have new roles for these guys, for these former starters, and that's what it is right now.
Yeah. Jody Perry saying, wish we could have pressured Brady more. We need to get our hands on the quarterback. And look, and if y'all caught our keys to the game, Mariella for sure talked about pressure up the middle in his face. Our pregame, we all kind of talked about that pressure. Look, the book's written on Brady, but as I said that night, I was like, you got to be able to actually do it, right? You know how you have to go about, beating Brady, but you got to be able to execute the game plan. And man, his jersey was. Did they have to wash this? I mean, I don't know. Did they have to wash Brady's jersey last night?
Oh, listen. They showed the clip of him. It was on TikTok in the locker room after the game, and he was just playing video games on his phone with his jersey on. no dirt, no nothing on it. I'm like, this guy, man. I mean, listen, he is the GOAT, but it's like, damn.
Right. So and let's go over to now. We talked about the snaps of Jalen and LVE. I don't know that I'm surprised because we kind of, we talked about this somewhat, especially with the big nickel and how they were going to rotate. And they did rotate a little bit, not as much as we saw during preseason, which was cool. I still think to a certain point, I mean, you got to stick with your guys and go with them, But you're leading. You're going to love this. You want to guess who the leading tackler was, Spoon?
Right.
I said, do you want to guess who the leading tackler is?
No, I want you to tell me.
You ready? Well, who was the guy getting toasted all night?
Yep.
Anthony Brown.
Yep.
My man had 6 solos and 5 assists. I think that's what it was. Yeah, man. 6 solos, 5 assists. Jaron Curse, 3 solos, 6 assists. Parsons, 3 solos, 4 assists. D-Law, 3 with 2 assists. And of course, man, how about that punch fumble from our guy D-Law? Just bam, got through there. And then I don't know, last time, 2 back-to-back plays for the defense to get the turnovers. You get the bumbled screen and Diggs right there to scoop that bad boy up. Ken Arnell 2 and 3, Jalen Smith 2 and 2 in limited snaps, 2 and 2. Right. LVE 2 as well. Obviously, Jordan Lewis with the interception on the Hail Mary. Almost housed it. Almost. If he just maybe would have not ran towards the sideline and cut back to the middle of the field, but tall task either way. Right. Tall task either way. Oh no, Harold. No, who's saying nobody here has mentioned moral victories, my guy. No one said that here at all.
I mean, here's the thing: we're not here to be yelling and screaming. And what was done yesterday. There's no, when it comes to more victory, it's pretty much when you're ignoring that you lost. We're not ignoring that we're lost, but we can praise the positive steps that this team has made. I mean, can we be honest here for a second? I mean, a lot of these fans here coming out, we're gonna get whipped without losing Zach Martin and X, Y, and Z. I mean, Connor McGovern had a great game yesterday. He had a very solid game. Right, we went. If anything, we beat ourselves. There's 4 points unheard of that was left on the field. Right. An extra point field goal and a regular 3-point field goal made. So that's 4 points. So my thing is this: it's not a moral victory, but for what a lot of the fans and a lot of the media was saying that the Cowboys should have never made this trip. We went toe to toe with the champions, and now the whole networks are like, wait a minute now. We didn't expect to see this type of Cowboys team come in there, and now all of a sudden, now there's a little more respect to the game. So it's not a more victory, but there are positives that we can say about this team moving forward.
I mean, it was an ugly game in the fact of the Bucs had over 100 penalty yards. I mean, look, let's be clear, the Bucs. Are the first team to win a game after turning the ball over 4 times, have over 100 penalty yards, and giving up 450 yards by the same stretch. And with all those things to be said and to be true, the Cowboys won the time of possession, guys. They won it by almost 10 minutes. We had the ball like 34 minutes and some odd seconds, and they had the ball 25 minutes and some odd seconds. I mean, the Cowboys, dotted a lot of I's across a lot of T's. The one thing that I kind of talked about all preseason, red zone. Everybody said, well, Nick, it's preseason. Don't worry. I was like, man, but I'm like, this has been a consistent issue with the Cowboys is the red zone. And that's kind of where the difference of the game was. Now, yes, we can talk about the kicker and what he did. He has one job, right? And for us, I think it was like 30 and under. For us last year, he was 13 of 13. And then, 40 and over? He was like 12 of 13 or something like that. So bad night there. But even with the time of possession and all that stuff, man, and these turnovers on this, man, what a way to lose this game, right? It's like you kind of had everything lined up for you to go out here and win, but that red zone, field goal kicker be damned, that red zone, the Bucs converted in the red zone, and we didn't, but there was the speed option, right? Our speed option to the left, I should say, and whatnot. And red zone's just been one of those issues for years here, particularly with Kellen Moore. And one of the things where I'm like, okay, well, you brought in a Ben McAdoo, and you have obviously the head coach Mike McCarthy, and it's like, hey, we got to clean up this red zone. I mean, yeah, we scored 29 points. So the losing streak continues, guys. 18 straight games where we have lost. We don't score 30 points. And yes, 29 points should be enough. But boy, if you just convert one time down there in the red zone, there's your extra points right there to put you ahead. And then, of course, if you do make the kicks, Greg Zuerlein, there's some extra points. Again, I said it before that the Cowboys played a cleaner game last time. They win this game easily. But on the flip side of that, the Bucs didn't have a clean game either. Again, over 100 penalty yards, right? They lost a cornerback during the game who was the guy that we were going to attack, and they had to bring in the backup to him. And of course, we won the turnover battle. So, yeah, this week one, it's going to be a little bit, dirty on both sides, not very clean. It's always the first 4 games that you kind of know who you are. So we got an idea. We got a temperature check. Now, I think the big thing we can check off your spoon is, and maybe where a lot of people thought there was no way the Cowboys had a chance, is it goes back to Dak not playing in 333 games. Then he had the shoulder injury. He didn't really get any what they would call meaningful reps during the preseason, even the scrimmage. And he came out and was the absolute best version that we've seen of Dak. He picked up right where he left off last year, if not even better.
BJ, it's been about 11 months since we've seen Dak Prescott and his offense. He had the shoulder issue at training camp. No preseason. Cowboy Nation stay here arguing back and forth about, is he ready? I don't know. I'm not confident. Dak came out, and again, why is the question still coming? Is Dak still elite?
Right.
This is what I'm saying. We lost the game. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of negative things that we have to fix to be a better team going forward. Understand. But people cannot say they was not impressed with how this man has come out that injury, sustained another injury, and was still able to do the things on the field to keep this team in the game, especially with the mental aspect of running the football, knowingly he got hurt last season. The man showed no weakness yesterday. A little bit off his throws at certain points of the game. We seen the throw. He threw behind CeeDee Lamb. Those things are gonna come. But my God, nobody here is saying moral victory. But at the same time, you can feel good that your
facts. Here. Yeah, facts. I mean, there's definitely some good stock here to take away, and some bad stock. As we talked about the red zone. Hey, man, special teams. Another thing that I talked about all of our shows leading up to the regular season. I mean, special teams has not been good. Now, I got the idea, like, once there's a bunch of guys that's not going to be playing or be on the roster. I'm sorry, guys. Special teams wasn't good last night. Kick return wasn't very good. Punter was okay. He averaged 49. He pinned him deep once. But again, we started 2 or 3 times inside the 10. Field position, I imagine I actually should have looked it up before we came on. I know the field position game outside of the 2 turnovers was pretty atrocious, but the defense did get us those 2 turnovers, which equated to 9 points. But when you get on that side of the field that close, man, you got to turn those into 2 touchdowns, right? Let's get over here to the Bucs, right? So Tom Brady, 32 of 50, 379, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, albeit one's on the Hail Mary. So, running game, Leonard Fournette, 9 for 32. Ronald Jones, 4 for 14, and Brown, 1 for 6. Hey, guys, here's one of these good stock moments. Run defense was really damn good last night. Really damn good. And, boy, it felt good to see them play well, because we haven't seen this run defense be very good in a year or so. So there's some stock to be had there. But, boy, everyone ever watched The Waterboy? It's when you watch Waterboy, right? Yes, remember whenever they were lining up, when the kicker was lining up, he's like, "Where's my?" And he used a particular word. Yeah, and then he looked, and he's like, "Oh, there's my." Yeah. And Anthony Brown, my guy, Tom Brady's like, "Where's Anthony Brown at?" Now, look, I think Diggs did a masterful job, and you can look at some of the tape. Yes. I'm trying to find this all 22 to do some more, but what the tape I can see, Diggs was very masterful against Mike Evans last night, and that's a big stock and a big key that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. But man, I tell you, he saw Anthony Brown and he went to work. And look, I'll tell you what, guys, I don't blame Anthony Brown. I don't blame Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown is who he is. He's not a rookie. Look, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, Mike McCarthy, Maybe Dan Quinn's late to the game. He just got here. But we know who Anthony Brown is. It's out there on him. You didn't do anything to help. You basically sat there and thought, oh, well, we're getting one of these guys at 10, and we ain't got to worry about it. And one of the few times Stephen Jones has messed up, because I swore they were going to get him at least a veteran before the draft, or at least afterwards, but they didn't, right? And Brady found him and went to work. Let's look at these. Antonio Brown, 5 for 121 and a touchdown. Godwin, 9 for 105 and a touchdown. Gronkowski, which when he was on the Bucs report on the Bucs AF, I actually was talking to the guy, their host. I'm a little concerned about Gronkowski. He's, no, don't worry about Gronk. Yeah, I said, yeah, okay. 8 for 92 touchdowns, tore us up. Fournette, 5 for 27. Evans, as we talked about before with Digsby on Evans, 3 for 24. Defensively, obviously Devin White all over the place, 8 solo, 2 assists. White. David, 5, 6 assists. Whitfield, 5 and 3. So I mean, their front seven, right? We're seeing their front seven and safety coming down, doing what it's supposed to, not a cornerback like our unfortunately with Anthony Brown on our side. But again, Anthony Brown is who he is, and they got to adjust to that. We saw Kennedy play pretty well. During the preseason. At a certain point, why not just pull Brown and do something else? Like Nick says, come on, man. But he is who he is, though, Nick. As he says, come on, Nick, Anthony Brown is ridiculous. But it's not. Look, if you can't swim, right, and I know you can't swim, and I push you in the water and you drown, whose fault is it? It's my fault, because I know you can't swim and I push you in anyways. Anthony Brown just doing what he's supposed to and just doing what he's doing. So, Spoony, thoughts on this, on the passing defense per se?
BJ, I'm going to start off by saying this. #route has been reborn.
Okay. It's a bad.
#route.
It's no longer safety. Are you moving it to corner?
But it's not safety no more. Safety's fine. It's cornerback now.
Okay.
It is cornerback. And I'm sorry, BJ, you've been preaching this from the whole offseason. Get a veteran corner.
Yeah.
They've been very complacent with the guys they have. I understand you want to draft your own guys, but again, it's games like this that we lose because they fail to be aggressive and just put a stamp on him, so that way we don't have to worry about this. And again, there's so much tape on Anthony Brown in the past before Quinn walked into that door to understand he's not my guy.
Right.
There's plenty of that, so there's no excuse. The whole thing is you want to save an X, Y, and Z. Now, as far as everybody wanted to see Boss Man Fat, Kelvin Joseph, he's on the IR. He's not playing. I don't think he could play till week 4, I believe. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
All right. So again, for the next 4 weeks, and again, it's not like we're not playing an opponent. We're playing an opponent next week in the Chargers, who got a very solid passing attack, very solid players over there, like Keenan Allen, the new toy they got in Palmer, Mike Williams.
Yeah.
We need Anthony Brown to play better, but I got a better way to do this. You got a couple of days off right now. There's a certain player in New England right now who's not playing week 1. There's a certain player that the Cowboys did.
Is he banged up though?
I don't know.
See, I think Gilmore's banged up though, right?
And if it's not Gilmore, let's go to Florida. Let's go to Jacksonville.
Okay.
There's a guy on there that we all was pretty high on in the first round of the NFL draft at one point, and that is CJ Henderson. So you can, again, even better, 22 years old, very young in his rookie deal, right? It fits. It could be another Minka Fitzpatrick situation, how he went to Pittsburgh. We need to bolster up that secondary ASAP. If not, and again, the film is already out there.
Right.
Attack number 30.
Yeah.
The film is already out there. Do whatever you can, go out there and do something. Get another valuable piece for that secondary. If not, it's a waste of time.
Hey man, I'm like, just go sign Richard Sherman. I was out on it, but I'm like, look, I don't really care. Go sign Richard Sherman. I mean, for me, I guess here it is just play the rookies. If they're getting burnt, at least I know they're learning on the job. I mean, when it comes to Brown, you're getting burnt either way. Play the rookies, whether it's no Sean White or whenever Boss Man Fat gets back. The other side of that, I guess I would say is, Anthony Brown doesn't fit the right the measurables. He doesn't fit, right, what Dan Quinn likes at corner, and yet they didn't do much to address it. Again, it's just one of those things that's kind of mind-boggling to me. And now, the tape is for sure out.
Right.
So, I mean, you already know with the Chargers, as soon as they wrap up their game, they're going to look like, oh, yeah, Anthony Brown over there. So it'll be interesting to see if they find, how they manipulate that situation, what they decide to do. But he's not slow. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing about it. Dude, he's like a 4.29.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Brown's not slow, but covering, I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, that little stutter AB ate him up on is like, my God, like, why would you? Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. He bit on the stutter, and it was 50 or 51-yard touchdown pass. So yeah, I mean, for sure that's something they want to address moving forward. Don't want to get too over your feet here running, but I think this is something that we kind of knew going into this. It was very much on pace and saw there, and something they have to address sooner rather than later. A lot of this other stuff that we're talking about, I think things can happen that we can mature into. But Anthony Brown, I think, is very much a sore thumb and something they have to address.
Right.
The funny thing that I love when we hear about people talking about run the ball or whatever, man, the Cowboys actually ran the ball more than the Bucs.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, right? I mean, I don't hear that anywhere or anybody talking about the fact that the Cowboys actually did run the ball more than the Bucs. On top of, as I talked about earlier, the time of possession, actually, over 10 minutes, or almost 10 minutes, excuse me, in time of possession, which, man, that's a gift and a curse. As we're talking about this Bucs now, it's the Bucs offense. We know what they look, right? We're talking about the Bucs. Let's kind of context it a little bit. First team from the Super Bowl to retain all their starters since like the Raiders in the 70s, right? Plus added, free agents, plus, rookies, whatever the case is. We knew what the front seven was. They attacked their weakness, and the Cowboys did a good job at it. This offense with Tom Brady, we know what they are. They retooled the offensive line. The offensive line is great, and they showed it. They kept him clean. Certain things I didn't like defensively from Quinn we'll get into. Like, sometimes I was like, did Mike Nolan hijack their system and cost them? Because I saw Randy Gregory drop in pass coverage.
Right.
I saw D-Law drop in pass coverage, and I'm like, hold on. And then the other thing that was kind of a head scratcher to me, at times when we blitzed, well, the corners were playing off. You can't blitz and be off. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
Especially against Tom Brady. He's going to recognize it. He's going to get rid of it quick. You got to make him pat the ball one more extra time and let the blitz get home if it can, right? So I'm not. Look. We love the turnovers, And look, right there when the game was online, Casey made the great hit fumble, to give us a chance to go down there. And we'll talk about this last drive here in a second. I like the fight. Okay, let me say it that way, Spoon. I like the fight of the defense. The defense is willing to fight. But some of the calling from Quinn, I think, has to adjust. And obviously, it starts with Brown. It's hard when you got that leaky side over there at CB2. But some of the front seven stuff he did last night, I wasn't a big fan of either. As far as pass rushing and the blitzes they were calling and dropping, defensive ends back into coverage.
Yeah, again, the play with D-Law, it was a play to Gronkowski. You saw Tom Brady's eye. He saw the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the whole play, BJ. He's seen Donovan Wilson with the blitz coming up. And right up, it was a touchdown. D-Law had to drop back and cover Gronkowski. It's, for me, I understand the whole new scheme. I didn't like that at all. It's not you can't play that type of way with everybody, especially when you have a guy like Tom Brady who reads the defense, and when you know Gronkowski, they both is a connection. It's
right.
a great connection, and it's things like that. Wow, we lost. It's the same time the players got to clean up certain things. The coaches got to look at, what, we can't run certain things.
Right.
It will hurt us and it will abuse us. And I didn't like that at all. I just think going after Tom Brady, listen, Dorrance Armstrong, we almost saw a strip sack. And
I don't know how pretty he handled that ball. That was crazy. Oh, man.
TB12 working out. The TB12.
Yeah, TB12, that little extra grip on the ball.
Yeah,
maybe the ball was a little flat.
He hit it. Brady still kept it. And it's things like that, we need more of. We got to get these guys more loose, more just rush to the quarterback. As far as dropping back in coverage, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, my guy. Mary and Maddo are in the building today. They're at work. Me and Spoonie, we're off work, so we would hit y'all this little midday. But don't worry, we got some shows coming up. We'll all be back together. We're rocking every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. The full force is in effect, and we got some other things coming too. Stay tuned. Yeah, man, I just don't know. I mean, he hit him with right down and caught us, and that's what it's funny that you said that. A guy with me, my guy Paige, that was with me. He was like, that TB12 workout. I said, shut up, man. I don't want to hear that right now. But yes, a bright side of the defense can continuously to cause turnovers. It should help us. But man, let's look at the time. Look at every team. And the other thing I tell people too is every team we play is not going to be the Bucs, right? Like they're not going to have that same offensive line. They're not going to have that same defensive front. Like we got to let this thing unfold a little bit. Help is on the way, right? We're getting Zach Martin back next week. Now, let me ask you this. Is it knee jerk or do you think Connor Williams needs to take a seat and let Connor McGovern start at guard?
Ooh. You know, I want to say start Connor McGovern.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Look, and again, Cowboys flirted with this idea. That's why they put Connor Williams at center to see if he could do it, and have right. Connor McGovern start to hit the best five out there because last night, Tyler Badass, even though again it was his fifth game starting in the NFL. Yeah. Not great. I think Matt shared the PFF numbers with us. Like his pass blocking was like worse than like Terrence Steele's last year. Right. Yeah, like it wasn't a good grade. Like Tony Pollard graded out better, and Tony Pollard's grade wasn't very high than Tyler Badaz. But again, he's not going to go up against Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh every week either. So there's like a glass half full select for me where I'm ready to hit the button and eject Anthony Brown off the island. Right. I do take a little bit of pause with Tyler Badaz at center just because it is his fifth game. And let's see where it grows. Nice. But now this Conor McGovern situation is very intriguing to me, though.
It is. No, it is. And, there was wording that they like him more on the right guard spot than the left guard spot. So it depends if what they've seen in camp, if they don't want to start him at left guard. But, I mean, the way he played yesterday, I would definitely want to put him at left guard and let Conor just be the backup. Yeah, he well deserved. Listen, him going up against Vita Vea, Pierre Paul. I mean, listen, he had a hell of a night. Hell of a night, and he held up pretty fine. Yeah. That makes me want to put because again, and then I believe it was the last drive where Connor Williams had a holding call that cost us 10 yards. See, it's things like that you got to stay disciplined in during these drives. This is a game where we have to win, and when you keep coming up with these bad mental errors, it's bad. And I would want to try them out there and see what happens.
Yeah, and this is the $1 million question right here. I mean, how about Connor McGovern instead of Tyler Badaz? And not really sure why he played center at Penn State.
He did.
But they've not. I mean, maybe it's a communication thing. He can't really do that well on this level. Not really sure. That's something for the coaches and what they think. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You take Connor Williams, who was a tackle, then you move him to guard. Now you want him to play center. So yeah, that's one of those things. The $1 million question, if you will. And then our guy Candace says he can't stay on the bench. It's a waste. Talking about Connor McGovern. My boy D-Town on the bench. What's going on? Antonio Brown, Michael, everybody. I mean, yeah, man, he looks. Last year he might have been a little out of shape. Yeah, he looks like the old AB for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So let's get to it. So we got the battling. Things are going. We get the fumble. Okay, it's time to go. Here goes Dak down the field to set us up for the field goal to put us up. Couple things to me that stuck out on that drive. The third and 11 to CD Lamb. And boy, if Lamb just can stay in bounds there instead of running out, if you can stay in bounds, but you kill some clock there.
Right.
The holding call definitely killed us as well because instead of maybe an opportunity where you're able to get them to force another timeout or whatever, you have to back up and basically makes you settle for the field goal at that point. Because I felt like it might have been 4-down territory there at that point where we were at, depending if we got close enough.
Right.
After the penalty, that's where it was. So clock management wasn't good. They needed to find a way in between there to run some more. This is to Kellen Moore, to the receivers that were getting the ball even on the boundary to figure it out to get down because we had timeouts. We were kosher. They were on, and they only had 2, so we had to burn up 2 on them. which we were able to get one off of them, and then they had to use the other one on their penalty on their side. We'll talk about that in a second on the last drive for them. So they had to, like, Kellen Moore has to be cognitive of that. And that, to me, I was looking, I thought it was a perfect time for a screen pass to Pollard or Zeke, something that right over here, just off the tackle, where they can make the moves, stay in bounds, and keep that clock churning. And that's probably, to me, with the grander scheme of everything that happened that game, we could talk about and point at a million different things. Some of the ref calls, like well, I don't know. I'll save the ref calls for here in a second. I don't want to get too far down that road yet. Where they have to be cognizant and kill that time if you do have to settle for the field goal, where you're going to leave little to none on the other side, because you have to understand it's Tom Brady on the other side. And we've seen this before. We went through this with Aaron Rodgers. We scored a touchdown with over like a minute, 12 seconds, and then touchdown. Like, this is the league now. It's this league comes down to whoever has the ball last about 8 times a year. And you have to be cognizant of that as a play caller and players within the game and on the field. For you, I mean, and look, and Connor did hold, but dear God, if Connor didn't hold, whoever was running was going to get destroyed. So there's that for what it's worth. And then you're kicking the field goal any daggone ways, even from further back. So the last drive, I mean, obviously great job by them getting down there, converting the 3rd and 11 and everything. What stuck out to you that you liked or didn't like, or, just in general with that drive?
I like how Dak would just relax. He understands that his whole offensive line is not there. The communication between him and Biotis, you could see back and forth. It was basically him being a general on the field at the same time coaching this guy up. And listen, the positive thing is that this team showed me that they could, for what they did yesterday, they could play against any team in the NFL. And the only thing I tell folks don't get caught up so much is when the commentators kept on saying, well, this is the only team. I mean, they will not see a playoff team until they play Kansas City. I don't like that kind of comment, because some teams got better from last year, and that's the key thing. Don't look at who they make the playoff last year. It should be an easy game. No, we playing the Chargers next week. They didn't make the playoff last year, but they got 3 times better than when they got their All-Pro safety back. That's pretty much getting better. So it's things like that I didn't like. But as far as how they did that drive and how they scored and they came in there, listen, it showed that they could be against anybody in the league. They can do this against anybody.
There's a handful of quarterbacks like the Mahomes, the Rodgers, the Brady's. I mean, just some of those things you just can't do. And that's what happened. Now, I mean, obviously we know the defense gets paid. You got to do some things. And I thought, I was worried when they had to use that last time out, right? When they had to use that last time out and save that 10-second run. If I said, okay, boy, we got a chance. If we can limit them to about a 10-yard gain and keep them in bounds, boy, that's going to put them behind the 8 ball. And what'd you get? Gronk outside, Gronk down the big. I was like, oh God, they're in range. And then of course, the controversial call with, and this is probably what really sticks for Cowboys Nation, right? This is what really is going to stick in the craw, because there's a plethora of things we could talk about this game, red zone efficiency, different things like that. But week 1 last year, we literally had the game sewed up. We got burnt on a offensive pass interference push off. Then we fast forward to week 1 this year, same kind of thing. Just be consistent officiating, crew. That's all we want. Just be just be consistent. And bam, and he hits it. And it's like, all right. I mean, easily should have been called, but it wasn't. And as we say, if anyone who's ever played, the coach always tells you never leave it up to the refs. So I mean, that's kind of what happened. But Spoon, I know. Go ahead. Take your time.
I'm sorry. Listen,
take your time.
That it burnt me. It burnt me last night because, again, last year they called it on us, and it was again even when NFL when I asked Mike Pereira.
Go ahead. I'm looking it up right now.
Is that Lel Collins? I hope it's not.
Yeah, Lel Collins suspended 5 games. Breaking news, Cowboys Nation. Breaking news. Leo Collins is suspended for 5 games for an undisclosed violation. That's where they said undisclosed. I have no clue what that means. No clue. Well, now the road got harder. Just now the road has just gotten harder, ladies and gentlemen, for the Cowboys, because we're about to line up Terrence Steele against like a Bosa.
Well, at least you get Zach Martin back, but
Right.
I mean, it's boy.
The season is upon us.
Another.
I'm just like, okay. I mean, it must be something pretty daggone serious.
Undisclosed. Gee, what can that be?
I don't know. I really, I mean, I just really don't know, man. What to let that play out and see what exactly is going on. I have no clue. Man. No, not at all, Rika. Not at all. This is not a joke.
Nah. It's undisclosed right now what they're saying for now until they talk about it. But
so what to let that play out. But Collins is out for the next 5 games. The official word currently, obviously this is a fluid situation. Some things will happen. We'll probably get some news or whatnot. But he's going to be out for the next 5 games.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it takes the steam out a little bit. Don't it? He played so good last night.
Yeah, he played so good. Maybe put Zach Martin at right tackle and let Conor McGovern stay at right guard. Who knows? Maybe I don't know.
I mean, that would be nice. That was my plan.
Oh, I mean, let's see what happens. But again, that call should have been made. Every call should be made. Every call. It's for some reason. When it's the Dallas Cowboys, the referees are on top of their game making the calls. And I'm sorry, that should have been called. Anytime the NFL, the head of the NFL reps come on the air and is being asked, should that have been called? He said yes, it should have been called. And right there and there, a call like that would have knocked the Buccaneers back, and we would have won the game, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, that one, because they would have lost yardage. No time. I mean, yeah, that it definitely changes. It definitely changes some things.
Levante David. He almost had an interception. Takes off his helmet, throws on the ground. No call, no penalty, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. It's week 1. We forgot some of the rules. X, Y, and Z. Come on, it's bananas, man. It's bananas. I'm not gonna say. Again, every call, there's a lot of calls that should be made, some are missed, but something like that, it's right there in your face. It should have been called.
Yeah, see, for me, that was more egregious. That's a 15-yard penalty, and that changes the swing of things. To me, that was more egregious because that's not on the Chris Godwin thing. Right, it's a judgment call. Okay. You can say, look, we can line up 100 people, 50 will say yes, 50 will say no. This is kind of what it is. We just want consistency within the league is what we look for. If it was that way last year, week 1 should have been this way week 1 as well. But this is clear cut, right? The helmet off, slamming it to the ground. That is clear cut. That's not a judgment call. It was right in the middle of the field. There's no way you could have missed it. And they just sat on their flag and didn't throw it. It was there was no rhyme or reason to it. And to me, that was much more egregious than the push off non-call.
What? I want to ask you, BG, was you able to hear the ref cut off his mic when they were discussing that?
No, I was not.
I want to play something for everybody. Give me 1 second. Right here.
Was there a push or not?
Hold on. Excuse me 1 second.
And believe it. Listen to what the referee say. What you mean? Let's just say it wasn't.
The referee is basically on the air. They're discussing the call. He tells the other ref, let's just say he catches himself on the mic. Everybody can hear. He cuts it off.
I think that was early. Whoa. I think that was earlier in the game. There was a penalty early in the game where the mic was on and he was talking, and then they turned it off and they came back. I don't think that was. I don't think that's the what you call it. Wow. Wow.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's the 5 games. 5 games. Shh. Not PEDs. We're talking about substance abuse here. Not PEDs. Not PEDs. Mm. Mm. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. That's boy. Let me throw that up there. Ooh. So I mean, as we were breaking down this thing, we're talking about the Cowboys. Obviously, we got some breaking news. We got to scroll across the bottom. Man, 5 games, substance abuse. Man, tough. This is pretty tough. I mean, Cannon. This couldn't be for the Stinger. This is because I mean it wouldn't happen over the past. I mean, I don't think anyway. Something would just happen in the past week and a half. I think this is maybe something long term coming, perhaps. But we're definitely going to have to. I mean, it's a fluid situation. You know, it's definitely going to be unfolding. Let's see here what we get here from. Next one, games. She violated the policy and program of substance abuse. Source said. If it's 5 games, you know, and we kind of talked about this on the preview show of the season. I think you just got to go back to what you did last year. I think you got to look. I don't know. There's been talk whether Zach Martin really wants to play tackle or not. It's like, bro, you got to go play tackle. And let's get McGovern on there. There's your walkthrough to get McGovern. You go put Zach Martin at right tackle, you put McGovern at right guard, and you roll this thing. I mean, for 5 games, I can't. My God, I can't take Terrence Steele over there for 5 games, and that's what they need to do, right? That's exactly what they need to do is make that move for the next 5 games, and then I'll be honest with you. We talk about substance abuse and whatnot. This might be a long-term thing we have to look at here, Sony. I don't know. Yeah. This is right. This is we're talking about substance abuse. What does he got to do? Counseling, whatever. How bad is it? What was the substance? There's a lot of different things and ways this can go. Not to overreact on it, and it could be just 5 games and he comes back. But there are certain things that are out there. It's all the way out there. It's all the way out there, Nick. Here, I'll tell you what, guys. Let me see. Let me get the screen up real quick. So when you're supposed to bring. Yeah, you're supposed to bring that up for your boy. Yeah. It's all right. I'm on it right now. I got you, fam. So yeah, man. Breaking news. Spoon, is usually late night when we do stuff, and some news might break. But boom, there you go there. And let's see. That's geez Louise, guys.
It could be from the Stinger, and then there was also so now we're talking about they were suspicious about his weight loss. And see again, you could take a lot of supplements where for pain, for weight loss and stuff like that. And we got to see how this comes out though.
Right. And of course, right there, we'll put that full screen for everybody to see. Adam Schefter, Cowboys offensive tackle, Leo Collins suspended 5 games per source. And as we've already known and uncovered, I think it was Michael G on Twitter said it is for substance abuse as well. So Leo Collins out for the next 5 games due to substance abuse. We don't know what the substance is. We're not really sure what it is yet that he was taking, but it was to lose weight during the offseason, whether maybe, Mark Kenner's right in what you said. Maybe he did do something. I mean, the Stinger and stuff was about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the case here, right? Maybe it was some painkillers, but you would have to think. Here's my problem with the substance abuse. See, this painkillers though, that's going to be prescribed for the Stinger.
Yeah.
So this is something that wasn't subscribed to him, right?
But see, and there was a play. I forgot what was a play in the past.
Shout out to my brother from another. Sean Smith said cocaine.
I hope not. But there was a play in the past.
They said substance abuse. Wilson. They said substance abuse. They specifically said that if it wasn't, they would say PEDs. That was my first thought too. Maybe it was PEDs, but no, they said substance abuse. Go ahead,
I believe D-Law got suspended for something like that, where was it substance abuse, but he came out and said it was for whatever pain he was dealing with. The medication was prescribed to him. If it's prescribed to you and you're taking it,
Right.
then you should not be suspended. If you're taking something that nobody prescribed you, it's a different situation. But
Correct.
again, let's see how the Cowboys handle it once we get the full story down, and let's see what they're gonna do. They maybe appeal it or whatever, and drop some games even lower. Let's see what happens.
And as I said, guys, as soon as this news broke, it was we started with undisclosed reason. This is a fluid situation. Ian Rappaport just tweeted out that he missed a drug test. But here's what you have to understand though. Here's what you got to understand though. This wasn't the first time. Like
Right.
you get 2 strikes and then it's the 3rd strike. If I'm not mistaken, someone has to clarify me on that. Like you'll get popped a couple times, right? And then it's like, hey, you can't mess up or you're going to miss some games. Okay. And basically, if you fail to appear, they treat it as a negative test. You're in the system, and it is what, because you fail. I think if you pop once, I think you go into the system, right? And then I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe you pop once, you go into the system, and then you pop a second. It's one of those, or you pop once, hey, watch out, pop twice, something 2 to 3 times. I know that's what it is. So yeah, it's oh, he said tests. No, not test. He missed. Wow, tests. They say. Yeah, let's pull that up real quick for the people at home, in case you don't know on Twitter. We don't want you leaving here. We got you covered. Oh, Spoony.
Yes.
Do you think this is something the Cowboys do coming down the pipeline?
I won't.
Typically, they do know that.
I won't say no. I'll say this: when it comes to drug tests, people will play by it the way the rules are. If you miss it, again, there's a certain way how you do things. If you know you're doing something and the test comes up, you're gonna miss it on purpose. I don't recall him being in trouble the first time or whatever the case may be. We can even go back to Randy Gregory when he missed a couple of tests, but the thing was he was in rehab the whole time, and that was the conflict between the NFL and the place that he was at. That the reason once you're in rehab and you're locked in, you can't go outside, and he missed some tests because of that. So again, I wouldn't put it past me if he told the Cowboys something and they said just miss it X, Y, and Z is again, if you get caught, even longer. So who knows? And
of course, there it is right there. Ian Rappaport says, my understanding is La'el Collins was suspended for missing drug tests, essentially failure to appear. But what I am saying is whether you miss it or not, once they're into the program, the teams know they're in the program. Right. The teams know once they're in the program that they are in the program. Now, obviously, he failed to appear. Now here we are. I tell you what, we're going to hear ASAP. What we're going to hear. Should have drafted Rashawn Slater. You already know what's coming. Y'all already know what's coming. Boy, that's going to be an avalanche on social media over the next 24, 48 hours, maybe longer. The Cowboys messed up the draft. They should have took Rashawn Slater. The Cowboys Bucs was the most watched season opener since 2015. It's funny because somebody was trying to hit me with the viewership was down.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, and that's exactly my thoughts as well, Sean. I even talked about this in our we were talking about the offensive line depth and we were getting into the season leading up. Man, you kick Zach. Look, Connor McGovern showed what he can do. They try to get him on the field anyways. You plug Connor McGovern at right guard. You put Zach at right tackle. There has been some whispers that Martin's not a fan of playing tackle, but it's like, brother, you're paid, and this is what we need from you. So, I mean, this is definitely what they have to do. But again, the other thing that we talked about as well, Spoonie, it's not about one injury or missing one guy on the offensive line. Brother, if we go to 2, we're in a world of trouble. And now we got to skate for 5 straight games without missing another offensive lineman.
Right. Big time. So, I mean, right now, all they can do is pretty much see what's out there in the waiver wire and what's available. That's about it. It's all you can really do, especially if they don't feel like anybody like a Terrence Steele could come in here and play. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, look, we got Zach Martin back, but whoever's playing that right tackle spot, your assignment is Bosa.
Right.
And it's not an easy assignment.
Yeah. Danny Phantom in the building. said it also could be evaluated on a game-to-game basis, depending on defensive matchups. If they need him more inside, he plays right guard. He's a Zach of all trades. I see what you did there. Yeah, but boy, you're asking for a lot of creativity from this coaching staff that I don't know if we're going to see or not. Look, I don't know if they're going to really move Martin out at this point. Well, we'll see because McCarthy loves Terrence Steele, so we'll have to wait and see what this thing's going to look like. But the cool thing about it is, on the back door of this breaking news, you got a little extra time. Because you played on Thursday, you don't have to play till next Sunday, so you got a little extra time to figure this thing out. At least it happened now, and not say Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and then you're up against the wall a little bit. At least you do know now what's going on, and you get ahead of it the day after that you played. So yeah, I mean, still not the greatest of news that you want to hear.
Right.
Thank God that Martin's coming back, of course. Gotta see here. My boy Greg Sizemore's in the building. Says Greg the Leg isn't the kicker he once was. He's just not. He's past his prime. They said he had off-season back surgery. I can forgive him for the missing 6-yarder. The other 4 points he missed were kills. Yeah. I mean, it's fair. But once you're at this point of the season, I don't know what. I mean, what's well, since I do have the old Cobra, I was drinking some. Since nobody picked up my little thing here, I was drinking from the Cobra Kai cup. And the Kai stood for Kai Forbath. Where's he at these days? Sometimes you got to pay attention. I drop Easter eggs when I'm on here that I wait and see if people pick up or not. So I have to look and see where old Kai Forbath is at, perhaps. Right? I mean, obviously he played well for us. But Jerry Jones already came out on the radio and said, he's our kicker moving forward. And, I mean, he did go 3 for 5. He made the one that quote-unquote counted, even though they all count. And we'll have to wait and see, what happens down the old pipeline, if you will, from Mr. Pipes. Right. Mr. Pipes. I mean, Spoony, are you okay still with Greg, or are you ready to move on, brother?
I mean, listen, he didn't play the whole preseason. I was kind of upset, but it looked like he got back into a little bit of his rhythm when it kind of towards the end. I mean, they all count, but towards the end, you can see the confidence was building up again. I'm gonna stay with him. I'm going to stay with him. But I think next year, listen, NFL draft, try to get the young one.
Yeah.
It's time. It's definitely time. That's the one thing. When it comes to kickers, listen, we haven't had a very good one since Chris Bonio. That's a long – I don't know if folks remember his name. But remember Chris Bonio, BJ?
Oh, yeah. I set the record. We won a game when he kicked 7 field goals for us.
Yes, Chris Bonio, man, was a phenomenal kicker, man, and we haven't had a good, very, very good one, consistent like that for a minute. But
some more breaking news here on the on what's going on with Leo Collins. Shout out to my guy Ryan Carden who just dropped this on me. Appreciate you, my brother. Says Leo Collins' suspension is not final and should have been disclosed or reported, but as usual, the NFL's confidentiality policy is breached by, among other NFL in-house media, so on and so forth. They quote tweet themselves, and this is Pro Football Talk, by the way. Although an arbitrator already has ruled against Collins, so apparently it's already been. So the Cowboys definitely knew. If arbitrators already ruled against Collins, like the Cowboys already knew.
Right.
Collins has an additional appeal rights that have not been exhausted, and apparently it has been filed. So this could turn into, I don't know, I mean, possibly depending on how quickly they get it, the Zeke situation every week to week, you're not really sure, right? So, I mean, there's that for what it is,
week to week.
But again, so they already had dropped it on him. Arbitrators already ruled against Collins, but he does have another appeal that has been filed, and we'll have to wait and see what the turnaround time is going to be on that. But again, the Cowboys do this already, so they should have a plan in house. They are like this. As soon as I heard the arbitrator and all that, the Cowboys knew this already. They had to. Like, there's no way that they didn't know this.
Well, it's not brand new. It's not
that Dan Bailey. Yeah, Dan Bailey. Yeah. No, it is. Go look at his time up in Minnesota, up and down at times. Love Dan Bailey though. He was here when he was hot. He was hot. I definitely missed some Dan Bailey. So
Chris Bonio,
I think that time's over. Yeah, Chris Bonio was, man. Yeah, miss some more Chris Bonio. Yeah. I mean, that's the other side of it too. Maybe he can win some arbitration, and maybe they drop it from 5 to 3. So, but again, it's going to be touch and go. We have to wait and see what's happening. And Sean says, who thinks we're going to win the next 7? Whew. It's all order, man. I mean, you can get hot and go on a run. Next week's not going to be a cakewalk, though. Against going up against the Chargers, they have an offense, right? We got to see where we're going to be on this offensive line now for sure, and what's happening. But listen, I mean, once you get past them, teams will get better every year. So you let off right at the top, talking about that, right? Teams get better every year, but you got Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, you got Chargers, Eagles, Panthers, Giants, Patriots, Vikings, and who? Let's see what's that. Whoa. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Vikings to be 7. So that's your next 7. And you got Broncos and Falcons before you get to the Chiefs.
Again, barring any injuries or any setbacks with players not playing, the Cowboys could go on a nice run. They really can. They showed last night that they could compete with anybody. Now, when it comes to the Chargers, and I know next week we'll break that down with Miss Mariella, Professor O, who are not here with us, and me and you, BJ. We'll break that down. But I'm going to tell you this right here. Are they a cakewalk? No. Can they be beaten? Of course. Any team can be beaten. It's all about what's going on during the game. How do you adjust to what's being thrown at you? This is Herbert's second year, and second sophomore year. He has a very solid offense. The defense we're going to play now, their secondary is
right.
top notch.
Yeah.
Secondary is definitely top notch.
And we did talk, and I would say, we did talk about this, right? We talked about the Cowboys do need to stack up a lot of wins early on and get heat and get some rolling. So, look, if they go through the next look, how about this, guys? I mean, how about just go 5-2? That'll put you 5-3 with good space, good to go. Hey man, just lose one more, right? Hey, you're 6-2. You're in good shape. Doug checking this says Anthony Brown. Thoughts, y'all? Yeah, you missed it. Well, let's rebroach it real quick. I think we've all hit the eject button when it comes to Anthony Brown. However, again, I don't blame Anthony Brown. I blame the Cowboys front office and Brash. You knew who Anthony Brown was, and y'all should have did more to upgrade CB2. Of course, the big news is Steve just is chiming in with that as we got it scrolling down here down the bottom. The big news is La'el Collins out 5 games. Just broke as we were covering and recapping this Cowboys game. Substance abuse is the word. Not sure what the substance is. The arbitrators already ruled against him on an appeal. He does have one more appeal that he can file, and which apparently has already been filed, and we're going to go from there. It was missing a drug test, but what you do know is once you're into the system and you're having the drug tests, typically they know you might have already popped a negative, a positive one, I should say. My guy Josh Parker's in the building. What's going on, Josh? He was out there with at the office with me last night, the Buffalo Wild Wings, as we watched the Cowboys almost eke one out. So I hope we blow out bad teams and not play down like in the past. Very true. Hey, facts. Yeah, facts. Brian Double's got us at 12-5. 12-5. Yeah, I mean, at that point, man, I guess we're going to do the preview come Wednesday. We might hit that. We might get a recap showing this weekend with Mary and Matt. We'll see what's going on there. For sure, we're going to have the PFF Risers and Fallers. Matt's going to be leading that up for us here. You probably would have catch that on Wednesday mornings. So we'll be doing Cowboys, Risers, and Fallers throughout the season, week to week. Then, of course, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., you're going to see us give you the preview of the upcoming game and all things that happen. Obviously, we'll have some news or some more news, I should say, when it comes to La'el Collins. But again, let's put a bow on it, Spoon. Let's put a bow on it, man. Week 1 Bucs. Confidence up, confidence down.
Oh, confidence up. Confidence up. It's up.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think there's a lot of I think the good outweighs the bad. Again, the one thing that just kind of sticks in my ear just a little bit is winning the time of possession by almost 10 minutes and still getting beat the way we did. And it's 18 straight games of almost like we're snake bitten, right? It's 18 straight games of if we don't score 30, we take an L. Even though we got 4 turnovers, really 3. The Hail Mary, okay. We stopped the run, right? What we couldn't do last year. It's like we plug one hole in the dam, then another one creeps up on us, and right now that hole appears to be Anthony Brown, which we just talked about again. But I think Dak and where he's at playing just stepped on the field and inserted himself into the MVP level or MVP conversation week 1. Obviously, it's super early. It's phenomenal. McGovern. Look, not enough credit to Kellen Moore.
Yes. Kellen Moore was very aggressive. Again, I love the play calling. I have no issues with Zeke running the football, in my opinion, because again, this is what you have to do against good teams like this. You got to be able to go to battle. And Kellen Moore was so aggressive play calling yesterday. He kept the Bucs off the heel. This is why we were in the game to the end. I mean, the missed field goals, the extra points, that is the some of the bad discipline of a holding call, stuff like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you could. That's again, it's like BJ you said earlier. The first 4 weeks is always sloppy football. The whole team does not play together in the preseason. So this is pretty much their reps right here the first time together. Hopefully, by in the next couple of weeks, they overcome that. Now, the way it looked like once they overcome that, this is a dangerous team, bearing on injuries and setbacks. So,
how many? Mo said, how many running tips did Tampa really have though? 13, I believe it was. And the Cowboys had 18, 13. So 18 versus 13 is where it's at. Brian Double, absolutely. You already know what it is. Beer gang in the building. Yes, the red zone still is troublesome. Our guy Mendoza in the building. Ball being hurt. Our draft pick, tackle, sucks. And yeah, we did. We actually did. Real quick, we'll recap that. 16 snaps for Jalen, 14 snaps for Van Der Esch. You had Michael Parsons played 51 of the 64. I think it was 64 plays the Bucs ran. He played on 51 of them. A lot of big nickel. Curse definitely out there a ton. Some little rotation here and there. Not as much as we saw during preseason. But, maybe we'll see that getting tightened up just a little bit more. But it definitely looks like we're going to see more 3 safety versus 2 linebackers than the other way around is what it appears we're going to see. At least that's how it was this week. We'll see week to week again as what you just said. We'll know after 4 games, we'll kind of know what the game plans and what these teams are schematically and what they're looking to do and really have it nailed down. And right here, D-Town says, Kellen Moore called a good game. King have Dak drop back 58 times, though, too dangerous, and that's not winning football. Yes and no, because, again, 10 to 15 of those throws really weren't drop back passes. It was snap the ball, throwing it directly. It was just really long handoffs. And you have to look at it that way and understand, like when they're throwing it, that bubble screen, just snap, throw it out into the wide receiver, or, it snap and swinging it out here to the running back. Those are just really long handoffs. I understand what you're saying. It's not ideal. And we only had 18 runs. You kind of do want to get that up. But if you understand within the constructs that, I tell you, let me rewind it this way. Last time looked a lot like Boise State's offense when Kellen Moore was there, to be clear. And we haven't really seen Kellen Moore that way, call and dial up plays that way. I thought that was very intriguing. Now, of course, he's a made man too. We talked about Dak being a made man, changing plays or doing whatever. Well, he's a made man too, that new 3-year deal now. Yeah. So something to keep our eye on and see how it works.
Dak is here, Kellen Moore is here. That's the package right there together. And here's another thing. I mean, the game plan is always always against your opposing team's weakness.
Right.
What was their weakness last night? The secondary. They attacked it. There's no issue. I mean, that's the plan. And again, they were scoring points doing it. So you don't stop. You keep doing it until somebody gives in. And we had a very good chance of winning that football game. And it wasn't because we was throwing the football much. It was because we left points on the field. Right. And at the last minute when the game was on the line, pretty much the defense. So, the loss has nothing to do with dropping back 58 times. It's pretty much the other areas of this team. But I feel comfortable with it because, again, we're playing the AFC West, right? That's the Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, and Chiefs. Now, let's be honest. If folks don't know, go Google OurLast.com, which is to me is the most updated NFL roster on the site. And when you look at those teams, look what they're coming in with. Right. Look at the arsenal they're coming in with. You mean to tell me that we're going to run the ball 20 times a game, every game? No, it's not. You're going to have more games like what you saw last night because, again, they come in here to score points. Now, do we have a defense against the Chiefs,
Yeah.
the Chargers, against the Broncos, against the Raiders. Look what they're coming in with. We're gonna have to score points. That is gonna be the story of the year. The Cowboys are gonna be scoring points, matching points with the best of the best in the AFC.
Yeah. And by the way, real quick, how many times did Tom Brady throw the ball?
58 times.
50.
And he had over
50.
20 incompletions versus Dak's 13.
Yeah. 32. He went 32. Yeah, he went 32 with 50. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's a new day. Like, I really want to implore people, like, you got to understand, this ain't the 90s no more.
No, it's not.
It's not the 90s anymore. It's not going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Now, look, are we talking about 50, 58 times throwing the ball every week? No. But some games take that. And again, both sides were stopping the run well. So they went to both sides' weaknesses. They attacked Anthony Brown, and we attacked where Button Jr. went out at, right? So that's just kind of how the game went. Now here's where I'll have the problem. If we're running the ball down somebody's throat, effectively gashing them, and then we decide to get away from it because that's our weakness, then you'll see me say, well, hold on now. Like, let's keep taking advantage of those weaknesses and do it the right way. And again, red zone's got to get a little bit better. We got to clean that up. But that's been a thing with this offense for a few years now. I mean, we did talk about that a little bit earlier. As you already know, I've been pounding the table about the special teams not being very good. And the thing that was really weird, and I didn't like this, we started kicking the ball out of the end zone. Greg's got the leg to do it, right?
Right.
And then they tried to get cute and like, oh, we're going to hang it or whatever, which gave up some big returns. Yeah, and I'm like, why not just keep kicking it out the back of the end zone? What are we doing? What's the point of Greg being here if he's not going to give us touchbacks every single time? Right. And then this field goes on top of it. So let me get through some of these real quick. I mean, it was a lot cool because we were winning though. Super Bowls.
Yeah, back then if a quarterback threw for 250 yards, you had a great game. You was running the football more. You was throwing short passes. We are in a new league where scoring points is the new norm. Putting up 45 points is going to be the new norm.
Yeah,
it's made for the offense. It's pretty much like the NBA. You're pretty much made to score for the offensive side to score point. It's entertainment. That's what's going to happen. And we're playing the right teams this season that are not going to come in here to just run the ball. They're going to score points. So we got to be able to do that to win this league. Again, like BJ said, it doesn't mean you're going to abandon the run. It's all on situation and what's going on during the game. If we have a nice, comfortable league, of course, run that ball, kill that clock. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna tell you right now, once we're down by 2 scores, the running game is abandoned until we get back on track. That's just being honest. And we're playing some elite offenses this season.
Yeah, and and the new norm of balance isn't 50-50 anymore. The new norm is really 60-40. The two teams that made the Super Bowl last year were really close to the 66-67% passing versus 37% running. Right. That's just kind of where this league is, and we have to understand that and how they're playing and what's going on. When we talk about whether these certain linebackers you want to bring in, whatever, they got to be able to cover, and that's just how it is because they've gotten so hyper focused on how to attack these defenses. And it's catered to the offense. We know that, as you just said, Spoon, but it's just a different league. You have to be balanced, but within that balance, it has to be 60-40. Now, it's somewhere in that. It's not that true to life 50-50 that a lot of us perhaps maybe grew up with. As they say, it's not your daddy's NFL anymore. Well, guess what? We're the daddies now.
BJ, let's go deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper, BJ.
Sure.
For the way the game is being played now, why do you think you barely see fullbacks? Why do you think box safeties, all of a sudden being a box safety is a bad thing? Now they pretty much being abandoned. Why the big nickel, 2 linebackers, 3 safety? Why is that? It's getting changed for more coverage style football, meaning against the pass, not against the run. So pretty much all the type of plays that you had on defense for the run slowly is being put in the back. Mm-hmm. They want more coverage. That's against the pass. This is where the new game is going at, and people have to understand. And I understand that you want to running the football. It helps, yes, but when you got somebody come in here with a lethal offense and they just score 7 points on you, you mean to tell me you're gonna answer back by just keep running the football? Go back to the Jason Garrett mode where we always mad about all we're doing is running the football. We're being too inconsistent. They know the play. We have to. You have to come out and be an Arsenal. You have to come out there and launch it sometimes. And yesterday's game plan, I had no issues with because we was right there neck and neck with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and Greg here, the front seven is the best against the run, so he gets why Zeke didn't get more touches. But see, touches is the key, not rushes, but touches. See, the 11 carries is what it is. And look, if you take away, he had like one really decent run. Man, if you take that away, that 3.3 average drops big time. And you had to throw it. And look, and you couldn't run it up the middle. Man, you did the old school swing toss play to get him outside. But see, when you say touches, though, now that I do agree. Getting Zeke in space, they could have did a little bit more of that last night. And that's kind of cherry picking what we did as far as the passing game and how successful it was. But I do agree, Zeke is a weapon. You do need to give him the ball more. There's going to be things right on the speed option where he could have turned up and got in the end zone, but said he went outside and got tackled by a guy that just got called up from the practice squad. That's not what you want to see either. There's a lot of different things. And those are like microcosms of the game within the game, right? And look, it won't be this. I'll go on record and say it won't be this way every week. No. They looked at it and did the smart thing. Look, we're not just going to hand the ball to Zeke to get 1 or 2 yards by running into Vita Vea or Sue's belly. Let's do some different things and be, attacking, if you will. We're going to attack their weaknesses instead of running to their strengths. And if they're cleaner, if they play a cleaner game, especially in the red zone and special teams, Dallas wins this game easy. So there's some positives to have out of it. It's not a moral victory, but it's positives to take. You got to clean some stuff up and get ready for the Chargers, and that's where we're at, man. So, as always, man, the big news as we were on today, I'm going to get out of here and go look up some more stuff and see is you do see down bottom, La'el Collins is suspended 5 games for missing they're calling it substance abuse, but it's because he missed a test. The arbitrator has ruled against him. He does have another appeal that has already been filed, and we are waiting to see how that plays out and go from there. So, thank God we got some extra days, and man, it's on to Los Angeles to play them Chargers in SoFi.
That's it.
All right. Well, as always, guys, we appreciate y'all. You can catch me and Spoonie on Twitter. Our handles are right there at Spoonie881, at your guy Nick's _ in between. On the bottom of the screen. Oh, well, actually says La'el Collins. But yeah, Star Game Podcast on YouTube. By all means, go over there, hit that sub for us. We appreciate you. We're on our march to 1,000 on that side. And then on Facebook, man, if you do the Facebook thing and not the YouTube thing, man, Star Gang is the group. Star Gang is the page. Like the page, jump in the group. We appreciate y'all. Notification bells on all the way around because you never know when we're going to go on.